Vinyas from the SA2. So this is a report about the deontology, universalizability. Universalizability has a moral principle must apply to all who are relative the same situation. Then we have they must apply to all evaluative judgments. They must be used consistently. So, we have universal law. The maxim can be universalized. There is nothing self-defeating or contradictory in person, and thus the principle can be considered as a universal moral law. In short, making a sincere premise is moral, whereas making a lying premise is immoral. So we have the principle of universality. Kant thought that we can tell what our duties are by seeing whether our action can be universalized. We have to ask ourselves, what if everybody did that? Example, murder cannot be universalized if everybody murdered people who they did not like. Then, they will be people left. Lying cannot be universalized if everybody lied. Then nobody would believe that anybody says, and lying would be pointless. But who is Immanuel Kant? Immanuel Kant is German idealist, philosopher, metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, political theory, and aesthetics. A central figure of modern philosophy, grounding for metaphysics, and there have two tests of universality: consistency of description of action, consistency of conception, thus making action universal as undetermined the very definition of action. Example, stealing. If everyone will steal, there would be no one person properly and hence you could not steal. Example, lying. If everyone were to lie, no one would believe anything anyone said, and hence would it be impossible to lie. Well, universality and respect. Always act in such a way you can also will that the maxim of your action should become universal law. Act so that you treat humanity, both in your person and that another, always as the end and never merely as a means. Although ultimately the above are formally equivalent, the first illustrates the need for moral principles to apply universally. The second point, the radical distinction to be made between things and the person, and emphasize the necessity of respect for persons. Universality. What is fair for one is what is fair for all. Lying by rules. Most of us live by rules much of the time. Imperative. Hypothetical. Condition commands that are applicable in certain conditions. If, then categorical. Unconditioned commands that are bending one of everyone of all the times. Categorical imperative. A hypothetical imperative tell us what we ought to do to get what we want. Example, if you want a good job, get a good education. If you want to arrive on time, you ought to leave early. Categorical imperative. In contrast, a categorical imperative specifies what everyone has duty to do as a moral person. Number 2 has nothing to do with satisfying goals or desires. Number 3 is the basis of universal moral law. And universality, they have a dignity and respect. According to the formula of humanity, as end itself, it's moral wrong to treat persons as merely means to our own ends, as mere objects for use. There is nothing wrong, however, with treating a person as means as long as you do not treat him merely as a means. So that's all for today.